Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our second of two evening Tech Talks here at the Crisis Technology Center at the IAEM conference in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're glad to have you here tonight, and we have a fun talk that we think you're going to enjoy. Earlier this morning, we had a talk from FirstNet. This evening, we get to hear from an end user about his experience, the goods, the bads, the in-betweens, and one of our goals as the Emerging Technology Caucus is to look at how the implementation of new technology goes and to talk to emergency managers to work together with our technology partners. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm thrilled to invite Matt May to come and talk to us about this. Thanks, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm getting in the right spot here. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to bring to you tonight is to talk about how FirstNet is actually being implemented. And if you don't know the background, I'll tell you real quick if you missed Aislinn's presentation earlier. FirstNet conceptually was to bring to emergency responders their own priority-based and preemption available services up here, she says. So to do that, the end goal was to take some bandwidth that had been given to us by the FCC that they took away from the television guys and see if we could go sell that. And that didn't work. And so instead what they chose to do was to make it a part of a package deal, and which ultimately got put out there. And they had fits and starts. This took several years to get where we are today. Conceptually, this is a great program. I really like it. It's a lot of us in emergency services are using commercial vendors and commercial services for things that are not built to that level of reliability. We often build, for example, under the other duties as assigned in my office, I manage a public safety radio system. It is built to a standard that we affectionately refer to as 5 nines. So it's 99.99% reliable. Most cellular systems are not built to that standard. It's not financially feasible to do that. They can't afford to do it. What we're trying to do is augment that, build a similar system, but build it to that standard. So that's a lofty goal. It's a huge goal. And I think the current FirstNet iteration is hitting the marks in some places, and my personal experiences, believe me, this is all I'm talking to, is what I've experienced or what I've had direct relationships with people who have experienced during an event. So one of the challenges with FirstNet in its current iteration is that it's basically been contracted out to AT&T to do. They have merged that bandwidth that was available with the bandwidth they already have, and they're sharing that together in some cases. One of my concerns about that was there was no intent or commitment to build those sites up. Now, they've committed that they'll build some sites up, but not all of them to what I would consider the public safety standard. For example, full generator access. In other words, they're going to have gensets at every site. That is not currently in the plan. And I think that's going to be a problem someday when we get to a site that should have had it in an ice storm. I'm from the Kansas City area, but we support the western Kansas half of our state. It's a frontier area. There are a lot of places where, despite the coverage map that you see here, the AT&T system just doesn't cover out there. Now, I know they have plans to build more towers. I get that. But every tower does not give a very big footprint individually. It's going to take a lot of them to cover that. The response when you ask that question is, well, we'll send a cow. That's a cell on wheels. So we'll send that out to the field. My experience with that is, yes, they will get a cell on wheels out into the field, but that it takes time to get the support team out there to set it up and get it functional. So if you're talking to FirstNet about this, you might ask them, what's the real call to system operational time that we can expect as a service? I expect that will get better over time. We will want that to get better over time. I'm talking about what we've experienced lately. A couple other things about it. There are a lot of devices that we want to use this on. I don't want to call out particular brands because it really doesn't matter. A few of them available right now because they must be certified. They're not. I know they're working on that. I'm planning to buy several of them. I'm a big believer in FirstNet already. We have our office on it right now. We're going to move several of our users in our county to it, but I still think it has some limitations that I felt compelled to make sure everybody understands. I hope that that moves forward. I still think that conceptually this is a great concept, and it'll be huge for our first responders to have their own dedicated data and voice network. I know there's integration offered with, if you have a public safety radio system, there's a huge expense to that I think everybody needs to be aware of that's not on the FirstNet side. Typically, it's on the radio operations side. If you're a Motorola person, you like the bat wings, you're going to have to pay a big chunk of money to get that integration software put in. So those are the things I felt compelled to bring to the forefront now, to make sure that we understand that those are the limitations of FirstNet today. I say that so that the FirstNet folks who are here know that we know, and that we're looking forward to those enhancements, so that we get the system where I think it should have been, and what I think I understood the intent to be 6, 7, 8 years ago when FirstNet was first being formed and talked about. So that's what I bring to you tonight. I don't have a lot more else to tell. If you're talking with FirstNet and their salespeople are out there in droves, trust me, they're banging the doors. Just ask the hard questions. Understand that what you see here may not happen. Your mileage may vary, right? Okay. So after that, Ms. Jennifer, I would be happy to give it back to you.